beach ball death. G'day, guys. How you going? It is Andrew here. Neil's just plugging himself in, getting himself ready. Man, what a day. What a day. It's a day that's going to go down in infamy. I think the announcement today is it was left for today solely so we could have it here on Under the Rug. Neil, you with us? How you doing, brother? I can't hear you.
I'm on top of the world right now. I mean, oh, you can?
Got me now? I've got you now.
I'm on top of the world here, coming from New Zealand, probably one of the first broadcasters in the world to be celebrating, and certainly there's champagne bottles being popped all the way around the country on the announcement of our the resignation of our Prime Minister. Just the country's going crazy.
Oh, gee, I thought you said something else, and they are going crazy too, though.
Yeah, got to be careful with that word.
Yes. Well, you know what they say: empires will run by emperors. I can't remember the other bit. Kingdoms are run by kings. Countries are run by. Yeah, that's it. How it goes.
Yeah, that's the one. I remember that one very well.
So obviously, mate, it's been a week since we caught up. There's been a lot happening in that time. We've been on a trip to, my family and I have been on a trip to Noosa in the rain. Come back, sold our camper. We're getting another one, by the way. And you've been to New Plymouth.
Oh, you know, the little city that was, I guess, has changed the way I think about it or thought about it. You know, growing up in Wellington and the windy coast down there and the southerlies that come up from the south, I kind of always thought that Taranaki was tainted with the same weather and the same sea conditions, which is like, ooh, don't really want to go swimming today. But yeah, New Plymouth is actually a thriving little metropolis down there, really, and plenty of activity. That's good to see going through their main shopping centre that there's not too many buildings in there that have a for lease sign because they've closed down. So that was really, really promising. And just the weather and the conditions, it was like, well, it's got a little sort of heartwarming place for me and maybe something to look forward to visiting more often.
Yeah, it's not a bad place. I've got good memories from New Plymouth myself. I competed there a bit over the years. Yeah. Actually, I remember a surf race there in New Plymouth. Oh, I'll get in trouble for telling the story if Dad's watching, but he had some mixed luck at New Plymouth himself at Orakura, and I remember this one day surf race. I read the surf incredibly well, so did a good mate of mine. We swam out. We were first to the Cairns. It was one of the heat races. It was a miserably cold nationals, which is so typical of New Plymouth, to be fair. And we got to the Cairns, and I looked at Hayden, and he looked at me. I was like, do you want to get to the finals? He's like, nah. I was like, me either. So we sat and held the Cairns until about enough people had gone past us so that we knew we weren't going to make the heat. I look back at that now and go, oh, man, what a dick. I really should have raced. But anyway, that's what we did.
Jeepers, Andrew, that's like, no, I hope Dad's not watching, but he's going to watch the replay. If the phone goes off during this call, you know he's...
Yeah, that's what it is. Whoops. Oh, shit. Sorry, Pops. I think who'd be more upset would be, that's the wrong thing to do, be more upset would be Hayden's father. And I'm pretty sure we told that story once, and he was a little bit livid about it. But anyway.
Funnily enough, there was actually a surf carnival on down there while we were there, and
really?
It was beautiful conditions. They didn't have the RB, they didn't have RBs out there. Well, only the ones that are on patrol, making sure that everything ran smoothly and nobody got into any mishaps. But
yep,
great conditions.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah. But hey, there's bigger things happening around the world. A surf carnival in New Plymouth.
Yeah, so you put a post up on Facebook, ding dong, and I could finish that. The witch is dead. So big announcement coming out of New Zealand today.
Yeah.
Hey, we've never had any problem with your internet before, Neil,
well,
but today it's dodgy.
Yeah, it's like Yeah, why is that? Is that because I wrote ding dong on my Facebook page, or is that
quite possibly? Quite possibly, they're like, "Hey, no, we can't let this guy have any say today."
Yeah, well, my apologies for everybody that's coming through sketchy. That makes it difficult from this end, but it is what it is. But I don't know. I think that what's happened here today is one small snippet of bigger stuff that's happening. You know, there's what do we have? The premier or prime minister of Vietnam. He's resigned.
President. Yep.
Yep. There's been a lot of stuff going on. You've got the Mike Pompeo from the US. What department's he involved with in the States? But he's got COVID.
Isn't it Jerome Powell? Not Mike Pompeo, isn't it Jerome Powell? He's the treasurer.
Yeah, one of those guys. But I mean, COVID is, if you sort of under the rug stuff information, you'll know that that's a code word for something else. I guess if he's got COVID, then he's taken the deal or something like that. Or either way, he's on his way out. That's a good sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we've had Taxinder step down as of the 7th of February. I think the timing of that, you said to me, oh, you know, what are they going to fill it with? Well, the timing of that is really interesting. I mean, obviously there's the WF forum going on in Davos, which is missing a huge amount of its A-listers. Klaus Schwab is absent due to sickness, although you said he opened it. I didn't see that. George Soros is also not attending. Bill Gates is apparently not there. So, you know, they're like the poster boys for WF, and they're not there. So that's interesting to see. Obviously, a bit coming up with the Stellar blockchain.
Yeah.
Hold on. Go and put it in the fridge, please. You do not need to be in here right now. No matter how many times you tell them, do not come in while I'm doing it. No, they still need to come in. Anyway, so what are we saying? So the poster boys aren't there. We've got the Ethereum blockchain doing its fork. All of a sudden, there's maintenance going down on, which you and I spoke about before, on the Lobster wallet, which could potentially mean that fork is going to come into there. There's been talk of all the Ethereum liquidity coming into the Stellar network, so that could be the start of that. I mean, there's far too many things going on for them to be coincidental. We don't believe in coincidence anyway, but hey.
Yeah. You've got Trump. Lots of talk around Trump getting back onto Facebook and starting to tweet again on Twitter. All in the build up to his presidential campaign.
Yep.
Which particular party, I guess, remains to be seen, or USA?
He might run as an independent.
The real one. Wow. Yeah.
Your internet's real bad, Neil.
Can you hear me all right? My screen looks frozen from this end.
Yeah, you keep cutting in and out.
I might
How about you reboot
I might
back?
just yeah, I'll do that. You hold the fort, and I'll be back in a second.
I'll hold the fort. Oh.
Okay.
All right, guys. So obviously Neil's having a little bit of tech issues. So there's plenty of stuff going on. Obviously there's what we just spoken about. Jacinda Ardern's standing down today, or she's standing down on the 7th, which I think is a big win for New Zealand. There's a lot of people. There's a few people going, "Oh, but she did a great job." No, she didn't. She didn't do a great job. She did a great job of dividing a once great country that would stand together, that stood in the face of tyranny. In fact, she was tyranny. She was tyranny personified, as far as I'm concerned. So no, she didn't do a great job, in my opinion. Oh, here comes Neil. He's back. In my opinion, she didn't do a great job at all. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. Guest is in the green room, so I can come back. I can go to this scene and see if I can add him back in. Here we go. Is that better, Neil?
I don't know. Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens.
Looks better. So I was just saying about how Taxinder she was quite a tyrant. She wasn't a good prime minister at all. And a lot of bullshit's coming under her. So let's get back now. We were talking about all the other little incidental, coincidental things that are happening on the side, like the Ethereum blockchain, like Stellar. I'm starting to repeat myself here. Sorry, I've got something in my sinuses that just keeps them tickling me. So If I have to excuse myself, you'll know why. But we've got a couple of other things to look at too. Sorry, go Neil, carry on.
There's not one country that's going to sort of jump out and say that change is afoot, and it's approaching. It's like happening in multiple areas around the world all at the same time. And so, trying to keep up with all these snippets from everywhere, and it's like they're coming in so thick and fast now. Talk about time speeding up and everything that's going on. It's really like it's almost becoming a 24-hour job to keep up with the transition.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've mentioned before, all of these things in isolation, you go, okay, well, that happened. But when you start to look from a broader perspective, from a much higher perspective, and start to look at it all in conjunction with each other instead of in isolation, you can see how they are all seemingly connected and actually will have a big effect. I mean, you and I both watched a few videos last week. We were talking about them this morning with Charlie Ward and them.
Yeah.
And they were talking about a big date to be mindful of is the 20th of March. Now, you've said to me plenty of times that you believe March to be quite a significant month. And I tend to agree with you. But I think there's probably still quite a bit to happen this month. I mean, it's the 19th, so we've still got another 12 days in this month here. It's the 18th if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And hey, guys, how you going? Hope you're well. But there's still 12 days. There's a lot can happen in 12 days. A lot can happen in 24 hours.
Well, that's what we're sort of talking about with everything seeming to speed up, and the year 2023 is certainly, I guess, a year that's speculated to be the year of so much unraveling and so much truths coming out. So, and when you kind of see the stuff that's starting to come through to the media now, and mainstream is getting exciting. There's much more information coming out around the COVID narrative and all the bullshit around that. Just shared with you that the Australian guy that's just testified in the case over in the UK, and that's massive because he's pointing a big bloody finger at the guy in control in Australia. So that was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, hold on, can you hear
play that?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. What? So let me just come back here for a second. It's going to
don't play it on double speed like you did before, though.
Is 1.5 all right, or do you want to do it at 1?
Oh no, 1.5 will be all right.
Okay, have a listen, guys.
Mark Butler. Hey, Mark, have you heard the news? You're in some big shit. Yeah, in fact, the word on the street is that you're going to end up behind bars. Let me explain, my friend. Do you see this story from the Guardian newspaper in the UK? It's victims and families call for prosecutions as contaminated blood inquiry nears end. They're talking about the UK's largest legal investigation into contaminated blood transfusions and contaminated blood treatments. Yeah, and the British actually designed our blood supply here in Australia, which you're aware of, right? Now, the British inquiry is coming near to an end, and they actually called me as a witness, okay, because they had some questions to ask about Australia and Australia's potential export of contaminated blood. And whilst being a witness, I actually had my statement published. You can read it at the Infected Blood Inquiry's website, or just Google Charles Mackenzie witness statement Infected Blood Inquiry. I suggest you do that, even though I've sent it to you, Mark Butler. I know you won't read it, okay? Neither will the bureaucrats who are helping you cover this scandal up. Now, the reason why I'm making this video, Mark Butler, is the British look like they're going to be taking criminal legal action against those people that denied assistance, and they've had assistance available to victims for 19 years, okay? But the people involved in the cover-up and so on, all right, look like they're going to be in criminal trouble. Now, their health minister in the UK, he would be, or she would be in criminal trouble, okay, but for the fact that they've actually had financial assistance available for victims since 2003. But did you know that there's been no financial assistance for victims of this exact same crime here in Australia, Mark Butler? And did you know that I've had a legal opinion? Yeah, I took it to some lawyers, and they told me, Mark Butler, that to offer no financial assistance to people with haemophilia who were knowingly given contaminated blood, they told me that that's unlawful. So I wrote to you demanding that you switch some sort of assistance on, and before the British before the news had come out of the UK that this infected blood scandal was spinning into a criminal issue, before that happened, your office wrote back to me and told me that you were quite happy with the situation here in Australia, that you wouldn't be calling in for any investigations into how children were knowingly given contaminated blood, that you wouldn't be offering any assistance whatsoever. So now that the news has spun into criminal trouble in the UK for people involved in their cover-up of the infected blood scandal, here is a picture of the future for you. And I'm being very, very clear on this, no hyperbole. You're going to end up behind bars. You see, Australians deserve far, far better. Your government has engaged in a criminal cover-up, and that's why you're keeping to the denial of assistance to victims and families that are affected. Imagine what this is going to look like in court, Mark Butler, because that's where it's heading. Why isn't there financial assistance for the Australian victims of the infected blood scandal, Mark Butler? And Mark Butler, how do you think you're going to go in jail, mate? How do you think you're going to fare there, hey? Yeah, how do you think? Because that's where, see, we've got parents in our group who lost children, and they're finding out that this was no accident, and they're real angry. And we've got other family members who lost their parents, and they're doing it tough right now, you know, mentally, psychologically, and financially. They're doing it really tough. And they know now that they're victims of crime, and they know, because I've been telling them, as has every other member of this group, that you're telling everyone that you're not going to be helping. You're not going to be helping the Australian victims of the infected blood scandal. Well, guess what? Now that this thing has spun into a criminal problem for you, we're not going to bother writing to you anymore. We're not going to bother begging or pleading for help that we know not coming. Instead, what we're doing is we're asking every Australian and people involved in fighting for the scandal, fighting for justice in the UK, we're asking everyone to get behind us as we put pricks like you in jail.
You both of us in here. It's a bit slow here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, quite passionate there. Very well done, though.
Pricks like you in jail.
Yeah,
love it.
Needs to be. But I think what the good part about that is clearly there's a lot of shit starting to come out, mate. And you know, we've only got to look at is it this one? Is it this one? We were talking about the Davos before. So where I'm going with this is that mainstream media is starting to pick this up. So that tells me that the tide is turning. It tells me that White Hat have infiltrated the mainstream media, and now they're starting to slowly drip the release of this information out. They couldn't give it all at once, because the normies would their brains would explode. So if we have a quick look at this that one, yeah, look at this. Why an absence of A-listers at Davos is not just deep trouble for the World Economic Forum, but for globalization too. That is in Sky News. Now this is from New Zealand, guys, from a Freedom of Information Act that was put out by the Outdoors Party. Who's attending from New Zealand? Only Damien O'Connor. Now that's interesting, considering that Jacinda Ardern herself. Oh, I'm just putting it back just to you, Neil. I'm forgetting which buttons I'm supposed to be pushing. Jacinda Ardern herself is one of the World Economic Forum's young leaders. Just same with Trudeau. I mean, it doesn't take much to put these things together and go, well, clearly there's something going on there. I mean, look at the bullshit that's gone on in Canada. Yeah. Free country. Mm-hmm.
Well, Jacinda went from, she was in the States, and then she went from the States, and next thing she's talking on the podium with the WEF and just spinning all the bullshit, which basically went down like a bloody ton of bricks from every Kiwi sitting there listening to it. The people literally spewing in their seats, having to listen to the dribble that came out of her mouth. And so, I mean, that was only a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, so there's serious stuff going down, and it is on to another thing. I was just looking at, So Goldman Sachs laying off people, right?
Yep.
Thousands of people. So just over 3,000 employees will be let go. One of the sources said, but the final number is yet to be determined. This scale of layoffs would be the largest since the 2008 financial crash. One of the sources said this means twice the largest scale of layoffs since 2008. The layoffs are likely to affect most of the bank's major divisions, but should center on Goldman Sachs' investment banking arm. One of the sources said Wall Street banks have suffered a major slowdown in corporate deal-making activity as a result of volatile global financial markets. You know, you've got countries aligning themselves with Russia and China with the BRICS stuff. You've got was it Saudi Arabia that are jumping up, that are looking at joining. So it's like this is all part and parcel of a speed up of everything that's going on, which is leading to the collapse whole system, the whole slavery system that we can't wait to finally collapse to zero. that's what we're seeing. So everything here that's speeding up is friggin' exciting. It's exciting because we're another day closer, and here we are getting on the downward end of January. February coming up looks like it's going to be really exciting. It'll be interesting to see what transpires here in New Zealand with the replacement and just how all that's going to come about. What flows on from that? Will they replace her with? I mean, I know if there's going to be a replacement and it's the same system, then it's going to be someone that is equally as stupid as her. And that person's going to be have some strings at a pull. It'd be interesting to see the age of that person and whether it's another one of Klaus Schwab's
young leaders
team or young leaders.
Oh, it might be the dude that's gone to Davos. Damien, what's his name?
Well, how old's he?
I don't know. Damien O'Connor. Let's have a look. I don't know. I've never another name that I've never heard of. Which isn't surprised I don't live in New Zealand anymore. But that said, I'd never heard of Jacinda Ardern either before she became Prime Minister in New Zealand. I know he's kind of older. But he is a Labour politician. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Just carry on. So let's just have a quick look at that, so you guys can all see what I'm looking at. Damien Peter O'Connor is a New Zealand Labour politician who currently serves as Minister of Agriculture. Well, there you go. Fucking, they're trying to screw the New Zealand fucking agriculture over. Biosecurity. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, good. Fucking hell, how's he the minister for so much shit? Haven't they got any other politicians?
No, well, a lot of them stepped back pre-Christmas, didn't they? And at the end of the third quarter last year, maybe? End of the third, beginning of the first quarter, a lot of them were sort of stepping away.
Need to move my buttons back. Forgetting the order. Sorry, guys. Yeah, they did. And for a reason. They've still got all the shit that's going on in Brazil. Apparently they found sex toys in Lula's office. Anyway, I digress. Where am I? What was I looking at? Just...
They probably were paperweights or something.
Paperweights? Well, that's entirely possible, I guess. It's entirely possible. Let's have a look at... actually, let's go back here. What? What's the other one? Oh, we were going to look at that. We'll come back to that. This is the one I wanted to look at, though. Where is it? No, I can't find it.
Which one are you looking at?
I was trying to find the Greta one. I thought I'd pinned it. You sent it to me again, though, didn't you?
Oh,
there it is.
I put it on your. Put it on your. Oh, no, I don't. I think I sent it. I might have put it on there. Just showed you this morning.
Yeah. So, guys, for those of you who are watching and are unaware, Greta Thunberg stunned the world at 16 years of age when she spoke at the UN Council and for climate or whatever the fuck it was and told us, how dare you? Well, how fucking dare you, Greta? But anyway, I just want to show you this. This is how fucking desperate they are. We're probably going to get banned for swearing, but, whatever. So if you're not sure what's happening here, this is a staged arrest of Greta Thunberg because she was protesting some oil or some shit somewhere. But it's all staged. It was 100% set up for the fucking cameras. Just ridiculous. Oh, wait on, I need to get a better shot. Yep, no, let's do this. See, they're all laughing and having a joke. Yeah. It's enough to make you puke.
Well, it's just more awakening stuff, isn't it? If you can't, and I'd say most people that watch this channel anyway, they know that it's all part of the bullshit, and she's, part of their narrative, and that's where we're at right now. Is another? They're all an uppercut, aren't they? Wake the fuck up, boof.
Yeah.
But it's like, so just other stuff that I've sort of got there. It's like, So the Russian Black Sea Fleet has gone missing. Yeah. So
remember their submarine their submarine that was carrying the Poseidon torpedo also went missing ages ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that was going to be the Poseidon event that was going to take out Japan or whatever the frig it was going to do. I can't remember. There's so many different strands to the story, isn't there?
Yeah, and I guess that's where we can. I guess the key is not to dwell on all of this stuff. Don't spend as much time as Andrew and I do on it down the bloody rabbit hole following this stuff, because it just makes it. Yeah,
I'm focusing forward.
That's what. Yeah, and that's what we've sort of taken a step back from the mainstream stuff. It's like, over the Christmas break, I spent a fraction of the time looking at this stuff, and probably was away from the main crux of it for nearly 2 weeks, and then to sort of come back on Monday and really, it was just like initially it was a little kind of like, it's like I'm missing, but on Monday when I finally sort of sat down and got back into it, I watched four videos, and I'm like, shit. Everything's moving along nicely. Everything's happening the way it should be, and I haven't needed to worry that I've been missing out on stuff over the last couple of weeks, because everything's as it meant to be. Everything's moving and transpiring the way that it should be. So, a lot of other stuff around the traps at the moment is the new revaluation and how much closer we are getting to that. So there's lots of little snippets around all these little things, and I think a lot of it kind of is moving in the direction of the whole quantum financial system, and the reset and the knowledge all around that, and it's just, I think they're just moving all these pawns or pieces of this thing into place so that they can switch that system on, and then. When that day comes, then I think that's the day that we finally start to enjoy the freedoms that we've talked about away from the slavery system.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've spoken about this ad nauseum too over the last 2 months, however we've been doing this. Yeah. We don't have to wait for that, guys. We can go out and create something of that ourselves now. We don't have to wait for that reset. We don't have to wait, and it's not going to be the Klaus Schwab reset that he wants, right? That we'll own nothing and be happy. No, that's not what's coming. He's lost. That's one of the reasons he's not at the WF forum right now at Davos. He's probably on his way to freaking Gitmo. Who knows? But they haven't got the money to continue to do with the cloning technology that they've been doing, or the hologram technology like they did with the Pope and with the Queen. They haven't got the money to do that anymore. It's all been cut off. The Federal Reserve's broke. It's bankrupt, and has been for months. The CBA, RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia, that's broke. They come out and said in October, we're bust. We've spoken about that. All these things are starting to add up, and you start to put them together and go, well, looks like they're out of money. That's why even WF, the Davos forum this year doesn't look so flash. It cracks me up. Like, there's so many people that are awake to the agenda and what's going on, but still they still buy into a lot of the lies that are being told. Like, the biggest thing I see about Davos, the biggest complaint, look, there's 5,000 private jets there flying in there to tell us how bad climate change is. Fucking climate change is a myth. It's cyclic. Every 29,000 years it fucking does this shit. That's why the dinosaurs died out in the Ice Age. Hello? That's something I've instinctively known forever. And I might get some haters going, you don't know what you fucking talk about. I don't care. That's my truth. It's fine. I don't believe that this world is ending because of fucking climate change that's man-made. And if you think we're that fucking powerful, well, we are that powerful, but we haven't created that. If you think we're more powerful than the Earth, you're 100% mistaken. If you think we're more powerful than the universe, you're 100% mistaken. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you're not seeing all these high-level people sell up these lavish properties by the sea, that's not happening.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
properties by the sea, they're the most expensive properties on the planet.
Yeah.
It's like they're not going backwards in value, and they're not going backwards in demand. It's like,
What was it Al Gore said? We're going to be underwater by 2000. He still owns a house by the beach.
If you go back and follow that, and you go right back, and I can't remember how many years ago, whether it was in the 60s or something, but we were coming into an ice age.
And then there was acid rain, and then there was the ozone layer, and then you're like, how many other lies have they told us? And it's like what Steve Jobs said in the Stanford address, opening address. It's like you can't connect the dots looking forward, only looking back. Well, if you look back now over the last 30, 40 odd, 50 odd years, even 60, we're going much further. You can see that the lies they've told. It was on the cover of Time every other year. Oh, you brace yourself for a zombie apocalypse. Well, we've got that now, haven't we? The zombie apocalypse. With the zombie shots that went out for the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, this yeah. Well, I mean, everything has been predictive programming.
100%.
And the CIA's been complicit in that. Just
Mockingbird.
What was that? Maybe. Yeah, like that. It was Mockingbird. Then what was it? Paperclip, Project
Paperclip. Yep.
Paperclip. And then one of the last ones in that movie was Pizzagate, and I think we'll start seeing more Pizzagate start coming to the surface again as well.
Oh, but that was debunked, Neil.
Well, yeah, no, it was just the mainstream media will tell you that, but they never ever answered.
Put my tongue firmly in my cheek.
Even Podesta.
Yeah.
Even Podesta.
Well, you're still breaking up. See, we're right on the money on the truth.
Books pizza for half an hour. It's like.
Yeah, it doesn't. Anyone that knows anything about pizza knows it doesn't take half an hour to eat a pizza.
Yeah.
In fact, I know
who orders pizza for half an hour.
Yeah, I know from experience, because I make a bit of pizza, is that you can from the time you spread the dough out, put the toppings on it, put it in the pizza oven, and eat it, can take you less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I tell you what, and on that note, Andrew, I do have to make comment here that having pizza at your place that you've made with all the love and energy you put into it is one of the best pizzas that I've ever tasted, mate. So they are awesome. If you ever get an opportunity to go to Andrew's and have pizza, take it.
Well, so if we're going to do this event in March, then perhaps you'll be able to have some pizza then.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What? So when you talk about March, what are we going to do in March?
We're going to have a new moon event.
What are we planning?
A new moon event. So at this stage, it's going to be a one-day event here on the Gold Coast. Anyone's invited. Anyone that's local, we'll start putting some flyers out about it pretty soon. But I think we're getting the old gang back together. I know you've said that you want to come over to it, so there'll be us, and there's a good chance there'll be Harron. I've put the feelers out for him. We'll see how it goes. I'm just thinking. I don't know if I've put this on the right channel. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm just looking at Rumble. I digress. Yeah, so new moon event. It's basically it's the first 90 days of the year. It'll be done. So we'll be able to review what we've accomplished and what we want to accomplish for the next 90 days. That was always my vision around those events every 3 months.
Yeah.
So a crazy cat running around the office.
But to I guess to talk about the accomplishments, to talk about how we move through the next few months, I guess, and come the 20th of March, we will have already literally gone through the first, nearly the 90 days of the first year, or 2023, should I say. And so there's potentially going to be a hell of a lot more to talk about and discuss on other different levels moving forwards, like in health and finances, business opportunities moving forward. So we're going to have lots to talk about and lots of potential to share, and generally come along and have raise your vibration, raise your frequency, and come out of there feeling like, wow, this is the right place to be. I'm excited about what this year's going to bring. I'm excited about what my life's going to turn out and what it's going to be. And let's all get together and have bring the family back together and have some fun together.
Yeah, and I just realised without even thinking about it before. Without even thinking about it before, you remember I said obviously we chose the 20th of March because it's the new moon.
Yeah.
But that also coincides with other dates we've heard from the likes of Charlie Ward.
Yeah.
That's when the majority of the banks come into that QFS. I think the only one, and that's all in alignment with the ISO 2022 compliance. I think at that stage there's only one bank that's not involved, and that'll be the Federal Reserve, and that'll probably be the last one to come in. Interesting.
Yeah, well, on that'll be a mess. That would basically be that would be the icing on the cake,
wouldn't it?
And certainly or potentially a sort of celebration type time, because all those that have been following that side of things with ISO 222, we've talked about those tokens that are already aligned with that regulation. So we could be talking to a room full of millionaires or billionaires by that time.
Well, the potential is that we will be. Hey, speaking about some technology, I didn't get to watch all of that one, so let's not have a look, but I'm going to bring this one up because this could lead us into something. Stop. Hammer time. Sorry. Let me go on and have a look at this.
Go.
The 23 defense budget is something.
That one.
See, now I'm having dodgy.
Very interesting.
Do the one before.
Documents is a proposal.
The one before? You mean this one?
Yeah, play the. Yeah. Do that one first and then the other one.
Speaking of feeling old.
You might want to slow it down though.
Listen to this. Scientists say they found a way to reverse aging in mice by making tweaks to their DNA. Dr. Maria Bakari joins me now. Doctor, is it possible that one day we can reverse the aging process in humans? I'm skeptical. Put it like that.
Of course it sounds like pie in the sky. People have been looking for the fountain of youth forever, but there is new research now showing that the aging process may be reversible. That is,
gotta love buffering
the
efficiency.
body may carry sort of a copy of a gene in your body that codes for a younger response to everything physiologically. And the science on aging is actually pretty mature. Put aside this new experiment of mice at Harvard, there's actually a fair amount of literature on what you can do to reverse or to slow the aging process.
Well, there's a new study that shows regular exercise helps reduce the serious effects of COVID. Speaking of
sorry.
Now play the other one, because if you think about it, they are starting to seed the mindset of the population.
Yeah.
As to they're talking about mature technology, mature studies. So it's like that they have way surpassed mice testing on mice and that sort of stuff. So now go and play the second video, and hopefully we won't get the same buffing.
Oh, just looking at it, we're only about halfway loaded, but maybe let's go have a look.
Yeah.
2023 defense budget is something very interesting indeed. Within these documents is a proposal for something they are calling rapid healing for warfighter injuries. That is technologies that can rapidly accelerate the restoration and repair of complex tissues. The document goes on to say the program will develop approaches that combine high-resolution biosensors to track the healing process in real time with bioactuators to stimulate restoration, where and when they are needed. This sounds very much like the concept of medbeds, a technology shown in movies like Elysium that can heal any illness or disease. Within the two.
Yes. Stop.
There's a lot of people around that have watched a lot of information around med beds. I've seen some stuff, and that's exciting. And I think in the new world that we come, knowing that there's so many suppressed inventions and technologies, that once we see the final fall of the dark system and the new system coming to humanity, this life of abundance and everything that we want, that's going to be some technologies that we're going to have. They're going to bring those ones back to the surface. So they're already starting to talk about that in mainstream media, and sort of starting to sow the seed for that within the people, because that's how they do it. It's all part of the predictive programming. Then we're in for exciting times, because some of the stuff I've read on med beds is nothing short of miracle stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you only got to look at we've discussed this before. We're told everything in advance of what's going on. So most of the movies that come out, people think they're for entertainment. Well, most of them are documentaries to say this is what your future entails. And Elysium was very much like that. If you haven't seen Elysium, you should go watch it. It's got Matt Damon in it. He's on Earth while all with the rest of the lower class of society is still on Earth, but all the elites are up on this place called this star system or star base. Well, I don't know what you'd call it, but they call it Elysium, right? And that's where they go to. And up there, they've got the best of everything. They've got this healing technology. Anyway, all the shit kickers still on Earth and make all the good stuff that goes up there. And everyone's trying to stow away on a ride to get up there. Well, it turns out that Matt Damon's character is working in a factory. He gets irradiated, so gets radiation poisoning, and he's going to die if he doesn't get to Elysium and get on a medbed. He finally gets to Elysium, gets on a medbed. Medbed kills him. That's not science fiction. That's what's coming. That's what, in fact, it's here. I believe there's already one operating in Munich, where and one of the reports that I read had a woman that went on. She had, I don't know if it was leukemia or something else, but she came out she had cancer, but she came out completely cleared of it, gone.
Wow, I haven't heard that one.
Have you not? I read that article about 6 months ago, and it's like that's the technology that's there. That's all about vibration. It's all about frequency. We've spoken about the scalar healing that we've talked about, and the Itera wands that are out there now. That technology is here and now. You can use it here and now, and it works.
Yeah. Haven't you got that place on the Gold Coast there, which is something similar?
Yep, they do. There's a place open on the Sunshine Coast as well. It's a bit bigger apparently. The one here on the Gold Coast, I think they can only sit 9 in the lounge at a time. It's really just in an old house, and they've converted their lounge and other bedrooms and stuff to practice rooms because they're physicians. I wouldn't call them general practitioners because they're not. They don't follow. They're doctors, but they don't follow general medicine, right? They use alternative therapies. And in the lounge is their scalar treatment room, and it's got a bank of 12 computers. I think it only had 6 to start with, but a bank of 12 computers that are all laser aligned with lasers diagonally opposing each other, and it just creates a field in there that you can go in. You can go into that field and you get healing. And I've actually noticed, like obviously in November, I was fired up. I was hitting everything, and I'd actually had 3 sessions of that scalar, and my body was vibrating at a good vibration again. But I've noticed that it started to peter off a little bit. So I'm like, no, I might just go back and have another couple of sessions, and it'll be a good way for me to go. Well, that's definitely been what part of it. It wasn't just, So yeah, I'm going to book in for some more sessions.
That kind of makes perfect sense in the reawakening or the reignition of Andrew Hawkes, over the last sort of 4 months.
Yep.
And but when you move away from that, we know that we are continuously bombarded on every level with our health and our spirituality, our mindset, everything.
Yep.
So I think, you going and being the guinea pig for our audience again, and it's like, wow, whatever's going on in that room will have sort of significant healing purposes or benefits. So I am aware that same technology, there's a group here in Tauranga that are looking to bring and get that set up here in the sort of Bay of Plenty region. So that's, we're talking two that we know of, but I'm pretty sure that there's quite a few of these around the world.
No, absolutely, there is, and there's going to be more.
Yeah. So
watch the space now.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, this is just a snippet of the new technologies to come to be re-released back into us. We've got exciting times.
Yep.
We will see some technology released that will help all our jab-sinded people to recover and get their lives back, so that they can live a happy and prosperous life. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, look after your health.
Yeah, totally. Hey, I'm just looking at, we've got about 40 minutes to run. I want to share this because I think it's funny, and two, because I think there's probably a little bit more to the story, and I'd love people's thoughts about it. So, what do you think of this?
Oh yeah.
It's apparently how the King of Thailand arrived in Germany for his trip. So he's in a crop top and low slung jeans. Yeah, being saluted. He's on the red carpet. Thank you, Your Majesty. Here's your car. It's like, I'm wondering, and I said this to Neil, I'm wondering, is this did he lose a dare, or is this the white hats showing that they're in full control, making them do stupid shit like this? What is it? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it made me laugh.
It'd be interesting to go back and actually into the Thailand groups and see previous photographs of what he would normally be wearing. And if you can find something that he wore last week or last month, which is probably more suitable to what he should have been wearing there,
yeah,
then that might be an indication. Is like, you just, if you are the person that you are, then you're just not going to show up like that, are you? That's like,
I don't think so.
A person of leadership does not do that. So you got to look at. So Trump always, exactly where he's already got the red tie or stuff on like that, or any politician in those regions. But you look at the premier of Ukraine, he's always in bloody track pants. It's like, turns up in all the photographs with him wearing bloody. That's not how leaders stand up and present. The first impressions are, what the hell?
Zelensky's an actor. We've got to remember that first and foremost. Hey, so we got, as I said, we got about 12 minutes left now. So what are some key points for people to look forward to, or to watch out for over the next week, do you think, before we see them again? What's some of the best things they could do for themselves?
Oh, well, take your shoes and socks off and get outside and ground yourself, for starters.
It's a good start.
Limit yourself to how much online time that you have, because that's, unless you've got some sort of blocking device on your phone or on any of your technology, then, nice. Then if you haven't got it, and don't sleep with it anywhere near your body. It should be at least a minimum of 2 meters away from you. But unless you've got some safety blocking devices on it, otherwise leave it in your kitchen.
Now, these safety blocking devices, where can people get them?
So you can get them from Intelligent. They're in it. Hang on, let me just have a look on here. I'll tell you. Oh no, I've got to leave the room to go and jump on another page. That's why that is. You have to go there. The frequency. Oh no, that's the frequency wristband. It's there. It's actually through Anwar, although we haven't seen him for about 3 days. I've got to find out what's going on there.
Since he did that, yeah.
Yeah. We had a friend that we've followed pretty closely. I've met him once, and I've sort of got involved with some of his technology, and he did an awesome Zoom call on Monday this week, and it was really enlightening to come back from being away from technology and looking at the narrative of everything that's going on. Just for him to sort of give us a summary of everything.
Yeah.
Now he did that on Monday, and he's in South Africa. Got a massive projects going on over there. But the Zoom call went for at least an hour and a half. He had a wonderful, knowledgeable lady on there to do with the RV and the dong, all the cryptocurrency, or not the crypto, the revaluation of different currencies. And so that was really, really exciting. So I just got so much comfort listening to that. But yeah, he was the one that certainly is led us to these sort of safety devices. And we'll try and put that link down in here, but I think they're still available. But it's just a matter of there's so many of them on there out in the marketplace. You really need to do your due diligence and make sure that the ones that you look that they do what they say they're doing, because you can spend $350 on one of these things and it doesn't do squat. A good way to test if something's working for you is, and I'm not sure what they call it, but it's like the arm. So if you put your arm out, and let's say you've got your phone in this hand or whatever it is. It might be a health tablet. It could be anything, or it could be food that you're eating. So you put your arm out, and then and just like basically, I think somebody else will do it, and they'll just do that. Put the pressure on your hand. If you can resist that, then what you're holding in your hand, i.e. your phone, or the technology that's protecting you, if you can hold your hand up and resist that downward pressure, then that product is okay. But 9 times out of 10, if you're holding a product, or probably 10 out of 10, should I say, if you're holding something that's not good for you, you won't be able to resist that pressure. It will actually push your arm down. So that's a really simple way of double checking what you're putting into your body, what you're carrying around you, is beneficial to you. Now, how that works, I have no idea. There's a guy, Patrick Flanagan, that's done some stuff similar to that, but utilizing the whole body. But it's really pretty cool. He can take his body, and I've seen it. He's got 2 big guys either side of him, and they will put their hands under his arms, and they'll, without him doing anything, they'll be able to lift him straight up, right? And then he comes into his space, and whatever he does, they can't lift him. They can't, no matter what they try to do, they can't. It's just like transforms his weight or energy, and I don't know how he does it, but it's like, our body is an amazing, amazing thing. And there's got mechanisms around it, or that are there. We're just not aware of them, and we don't tap into them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're pretty simple. Our health is important.
100%.
And if there's anything else that I would be recommending, is certainly, and of course, it's only what I've done. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would certainly be grabbing some of their ISO 222 tokens, and my favorite 2 are XRP and XLM.
Yeah.
And on that note, and there's a little bit of other stuff around that, because Brad Garlinghouse, who's the CEO of Ripple, is speaking at Davos, probably speaking now as we're talking. I'm not sure. It's today, Davos. I know, so they're probably still yesterday over there, but that's going to be interesting, because there's a lot of people go, well, Davos, if you kind of look at it as an evil gathering, or a gathering of evil idiots, why would he be there talking? But so it then gets into CBDCs and all that sort of stuff. So we have found some documents that have pros and cons on that. So we might do a little bit more research on that. Maybe come back, talk about a little bit more about that next week.
It's a good idea. There you go.
CBDCs,
We've got our topic for next week unless something
CBDC.
comes up. We'll talk about the CBDCs and what they could mean for
Well,
us.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about that, central banking digital currencies, and so there's two mindsets on all of this, and we've got people within the group that are probably a little bit fearful of central bank digital currencies, because there's one narrative out there that says, well, like Klaus Schwab says, you'll own nothing, you'll get the sort of universal basic income, and you'll be happy. And of course, they see a lot of that to do around with central banking digital currencies, CBDCs. So there's a document out there that's been put together on the pros and cons, and both the pros and cons, from my understanding, are actually beneficial to us as individuals. And CBDCs are not something to be fearful of, but certainly don't go jumping in and getting involved with it. Well, we'll be talking well before then anyway.
Yeah,
so
100%.
we'll go and we'll look to bring them up next Thursday.
All right. Well, that probably brings us pretty close to the day anyway. I mean, I'd love to stay longer, but I've got to get Emerson off to his little special thing that he's going to today. It's a big deal for him.
Yeah. It was exciting to hear that little proud father moment that you've got going on there today.
Yeah.
Hey? Yeah, that's cool. I'm really excited in the future for our younger generations. Your children, my grandchildren, because they've not been tainted as badly as we have. And the type of world that they're going to grow up and thrive in. It's just going to be exciting to see them excel in that stuff. That's
absolutely.
the exciting things for the future. So yeah,
100%.
good stuff.
100%.
Yeah. But all of you watching, we're done for this week. There's stuff happening all the time. I know that stuff that we get access to share is only 10% of what's really going on.
Yeah.
At any given time, especially in the States, if you look at the triangle being the DC being the war room, you've got Italy and Rome being the religious arm, and you've got UK the square kilometres. So most of all that's taken out. So
it's been dismantled.
War room. Yep. So
and
things
even
that
DC,
are going
it's
on
all
in
boarded
those
up.
areas there. Yeah.
The IRS, the White House, it's all boarded up. Yeah.
Interesting you say the IRS, because there's that big bill that they're trying to bring through at the moment. We didn't talk about that.
No, I almost did. I did a quick search before, but there's it's interesting. There's an article there saying it was clearly by a news agency that is not under white hat control, because it says GOP vote to abolish the IRS is kooky and self-destructive. Well, no, it's not. It's all part of Jasara. It's all part of where we're going. Anyway,
there's so much.
Go now. So much what?
I was just going to say, there's just so much information coming out now about the validity of Jasara, and
a lot of confirmation,
all the excitement. Yeah, so we'll look to bring some of that stuff next week as well.
100%. It's been great to be here with everybody, and great to be here with you, Neil. And we'll see everybody same time next week. We may be back on Facebook rather than here, because I'm just looking at we just may be back on Facebook. We'll see. We'll let you know. There'll be plenty of you get plenty of forewarning as to where we're going to be. All right, guys, have a great day.
But hey, the other thing too is book, if you're in the Gold Coast, around that area there somewhere or close by, bookmark the 20th of March.
The 20th of March. Yep.
We're gonna bring something exciting and a real positive, uplifting energy day for everybody that attends. So
more details to come.
Definitely. All right, love you all.
All right, guys.
Stay safe. Stay healthy. See you next week.
Stay empty. Be the love. Be the light. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye, everybody.